Sports betting is rigged against us, and there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. Or is there? I want you to think about sportsbooks like a carnival game. Sure, it's technically possible to win, but the entire point is for you to lose. See, it's rigged against the bettor in every way imaginable, but only if you don't understand how it's being rigged. All of us are supposed to be that poor dummy who pathetically attempts to land the ball in a bouncy basket in front of his humiliated family. But we're never going to win because we're throwing the ball exactly where the carny wants us to. And it wouldn't matter if we had 1,000 more attempts to do it. Sure, we're going to make a few of them in on luck alone and feel like we've got something going for us. But in the end, we're still going to lose. But go ahead and give that ball to the carny and see what happens. He's never going to miss because he knows if you put some arc on that ball, underhanded throw with a little bit of backspin and land it right down on the front lip of that basket, that's how you win. But very few people are capable of doing that. And even less of them know it's the only way to make it in the basket. So at the end of the day, that's always going to be a profitable game for the carnival and a loser for anyone else playing it. So if you start viewing sportsbooks through the same lens, you'll never be that sad loser who had to shamefully tell his daughter they're going home without that shitty stuffed panda bear. And all of this starts with emotion. Sportsbooks thrive on emotional bettors, or anyone who bets impulsively without any clue where their money's going. That same guy who keeps handing $5 over and over again to the meth-addled carny, that's an impulse spend. He has absolutely no edge. So no matter how much money he spends, the result is always going to be the same. And even when he finally does win, he's going to be down so much that he would have been better off buying that stupid animal from Target. The sharp move would have been figure out why he isn't winning and then formulate a way to win and come back to the table. But emotional bettors don't do that. They'll lose a bet, then double down, triple down, trying to make all of that money back in one night. There's nothing calculated there at all. It's all emotionally driven. I mean, why do you think sportsbooks offer live in-game betting? Because it's insanely lucrative for them. The amount of people placing in-game bets are doing so on a hunch. They're firing from the hip on bets that they have absolutely no data on. Or they're trying to claw back losses on a bet that's already going sideways because they just can't stomach the idea of losing. But that doesn't mean in-game betting can't be profitable. It absolutely can. It just has to be calculated and it can't be emotional. Here's an example. Let's say you're watching a Jets-Browns game. God help you. And Breece Hall gets stuffed on his first 4 carries of the game before fumbling on his 5th. Now we'll add some context to this. Let's say he's already lost 2 fumbles on the season and it's only week 4. See, sportsbooks use algorithms to constantly update these live lines in real time. I mean, before we even see the next play on TV, they've been updated. But sometimes they don't properly account for things within the context of the game. So in a spot like this, you could reasonably assume that Breece Hall might spend more time on the bench this game and lose work, while Braylon Allen gets more work than was originally intended. And if the sportsbooks didn't immediately account for this, betting the under on Hall rushing yards and the over on Allen could make a ton of sense. But that right there is not an emotional bet. That's putting some backspin on the ball and laying it down right on the front lip of the basket. When I say sportsbooks rig the game against you, I don't mean they rig it in a way where it's impossible to win. You don't see a tinfoil hat on my head. And I'm not yelling at you about how the leagues are in cahoots with the sportsbooks to make sure your Derrick Henry overs don't hit this week. Because this isn't a conspiracy theory, it's a fact. And if they can control what you bet on, they have no need to rig an actual game. But that's a good thing for all of us, because all you need to know is how they're actually doing it. And this may come as a disappointment to some of you, but I don't blame the sportsbooks for operating like this at all. Their job is for us to lose. And our job is to figure out what we're doing and formulate a way to win. Here's an example of the sportsbook softly controlling what you bet. They've buried all of the two-way lines at the bottom of the page, and the odds are actually better than the one-way alt lines at the top of the page. Now, you can bet the two-way lines, you can bet the unders if you want, but guess what? They're not going to make them easy to find. Or what about all of the profit boosts being offered by these books? Or have you ever noticed how many of these offers and boosts are specifically for same game parlays? This isn't a coincidence either. Sportsbooks apply what's called a correlation tax to same game parlays, where they reduce the payouts for outcomes that are closely connected to each other or correlated. Like, let's say you wanted to bet Jalen Hurts over 1.5 touchdown passes and AJ Brown anytime touchdown score at plus 150. If these legs were independent, meaning two different teams, they weren't connected to each other at all, not correlated, you'd be getting these odds at plus 462 on a two-leg parlay. But because the AJ Brown touchdown is tied to Jalen Hurts throwing one, you're going to get significantly worse odds as a result. And the sportsbooks bank on casual bettors paying attention to none of this. And now they can sometimes offer terrible odds on these same game parlays, which become massive winners for the house. So at this point, you can probably see that everything is strategically designed for us to make bad bets, to spend bad money, and to ultimately lose. But even within same game parlays, there are ways to make smart bets. Like, let's say you're fully dialed in on injury news around the NBA, and you know that Rudy Gobert has an ankle injury, and you're pretty confident that even if he does play, he's going to have a really difficult time getting up and down the court and making it through this entire game. But here's the catch. The books have set all of his lines like he's perfectly fine. In a spot like this, taking unders on Gobert props and overs on Naz Reid props, who's the backup center, would be a sharp move within a same game parlay. Sure, the books are already placing correlation into the parlay, but in your mind, all of these Gobert lines are wrong. So if Gobert ends up sitting all of his legs void, but you still get a great price on all of these Naz Reid props within the same game parlay, and all of those lines have clearly moved since you bet them. And if Gobert does play and is limited, as you suspected, then you're positioned perfectly. So thinking about same game parlays like this is going to be far more profitable for you long-term than just firing on random players who you think are going to do well that night within the same game, which is exactly what the books want you to do. Hopefully something in this video helped open your eyes to the dirty tricks these books are trying to play on us every day. So go out there and find your edge. And hey, if you ever want to make finding that edge just a little bit easier, try 2 weeks of Portfolio EV by OddsShopper 100% free with code EDGE14 when you use that link in the description. I place nearly all of my bets with Portfolio EV straight through the app, where hundreds of plus EV bets are delivered straight to my phone every single day. And I know they're all profitable because all of the markets are back tested with historical data inside the Portfolio Lab. It's sharp betting simplified, and the sportsbooks absolutely hate it. So we must be doing something right. Anyway, give it a shot. What do you have to lose? Edge 14 in your first 2 weeks are free. Appreciate you guys watching this one, and we'll see you back here for the next one.